Now, it is the considered opinion of the diaspora to dedicate this edition to some aspects of the 71st United Nations General Assembly attended by President Muhammadu Buhari, such that this news program platform, the Diaspora, and its dedicated viewership will share in the fragrance of that international diplomatic summit held in New York, albeit the robust news coverage it enjoyed.
His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Following from that, the Senior Special Advisor to Mr. President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Dabiri Rewa, facilitated a meeting between Mr. President and some diaspora Nigerian professionals. You will not want to miss some superlative revelations that trailed the interview sessions they had with our correspondent, Gabriel Odu. This package will be done only after you have heard a timeout with the Diaspora of the Week, Diaspora Nigerian lawyer who has become a reference point. Hello, it's good to have you join us on the Diaspora this week. My name is Ogechi Paul, the new face on the beat. Stay with us. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his address at the 71st UN General Assembly, canvassed international support for his administration's determination to fight corruption and Boko Haram insurgency.
Mr. President, the 21st century has been marked by the rising insecurity unleashed by global terrorism and violent extremism, which constitute a real threat to the international community. With the global increase in the spate of terrorist attacks, there is now more than ever before international consensus and greater willingness to collaborate in combating this threat. Nigeria has made remarkable progress in our resolve to defeat Boko Haram, whose capacity to launch orchestrated attacks as a formed group has been severely degraded. In the last few months, their operations have been limited to sporadic use of improvised explosive devices against soft targets. Nigeria has continued to combat terrorism based on the established rules of engagement and in conformity with international best practices. I commend the contribution of our neighbors, Benin Republic, Republic of Cameroon, Republic of Chad, and Republic of Niger, whose combined efforts under the multinational joint task force accomplished the present return of normalcy in areas hitherto occupied by Boko Haram. May I also thank our international partners, including France, the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, the United Nations, ECOWAS, the African Union, and many other multilateral and bilateral partners for their invaluable support. Our experience today is evidence that with determined international collaboration, terrorism can be defeated. Mr. President, fighting corruption remains a cardinal pillar of our administration. Corruption freezes development, thereby undermining the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. I am pleased that our efforts in fighting corruption are yielding positive results, including significant stolen asset recoveries. The recovered funds are being channeled towards the development of critical infrastructure and the implementation of social inclusion programs for our people. We are also strengthening our capacity of government entities to institutionalize reforms to ensure transparency and good governance. The Anti-Corruption Summit held in London in May this year served as further reassurance of the global community's commitment to fight corruption through the proposed practical steps to address the challenges, including actions to hold perpetrators to justice within the law. Nigeria supports the development of an international legal framework to enforce anti-corruption measures and strengthen existing international institutions to effectively deal with corrupt practices. Nigeria calls on member states that are yet to sign up the United Nations Convention Against Corruption to do so. Nigeria will continue to advocate for the facilitation of the recovery of illicit financial assets. Indeed, the speedy and unconditional return of stolen public assets should be the focus of the follow-up anti-corruption conference to be hosted by the United States and United Kingdom in Washington next year.
He also signposted his resolve to partner people-centered governments to tackle climate change, humanitarian and security challenges in the globe.
Mr. President, the world took a giant step in Paris towards addressing the challenges of climate change. Nigeria is proud to have been part of the process leading to the adoption of the Paris Agreement in December 2015 at the 21st meeting of the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. COP21 marked a watershed in the global community's commitment to address climate change, and we will continue in our determined efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Nigeria has launched the clean-up of Ogoni land in Nigeria's Niger Delta based on 2011 environmental assessment of the area by the United Nations Environment Program. Multinational oil companies operating in the area will be required to live up to their corporate social responsibilities and contribute to the cleaning up of the environment degraded as a result of their activities and operations. Of particular concern to us in Nigeria is the plight of internally displaced persons arising from Boko Haram terrorism. We have taken concrete steps to address their humanitarian needs and to ensure that necessary conditions are established to enable the voluntary return of the displaced persons to their places of abode in safety and dignity.
The President also pushed for the creation of a United Nations agency dedicated to youth matters.
We acknowledge the importance of youth in national development and remain committed to harnessing the potential of the increasing youth bulge. We must take advantage of the numbers and creative energy of young people who are in the majority in Nigeria and in most other member states. Therefore, at the international level, we call for the establishment of a specialized United Nations agency for youth development to achieve this strategic objective. Africa should be adequately represented on the United Nations Security Council in the permanent member category. In this regard, Nigeria stands ready to serve Africa and the world on a reformed Security Council to advance international peace and security. Let me conclude by reaffirming Nigeria's abiding faith in the United Nations and in her capacity to support member states to deliver on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the statement just made. May I request representatives to remain seated while we greet the President.
Some members of the Nigerian delegation spoke on the new global rating for the country after the outing.
It's a unique opportunity. There's probably no other forum like this in the world.
and our president was able to speak to the world about all the issues that we feel strongly about as a country. First and foremost, you will recall it's been over a year now since he was elected, and he came with those three priorities that we all know. They've almost become a mantra now on security, governance, anti-corruption, and economy. And of course, he also discussed the sub-regional threat of terrorism within the West African sub-region in his meeting, for instance, with the president of Côte d'Ivoire, of Burkina Faso, of Niger, and of Senegal. With regards to governance issues, anti-corruption, he made it clear in his statement his expectation of the international community to help Nigeria in recovering stolen funds and facilitating their restitution to our country. He met with the Swiss President and Minister of Justice and looked at the modalities for restituting some of the funds, over 300 million Swiss francs dollars that the Swiss have. And also we're also looking already at with some of those countries, the Swiss in particular, at how we're going to use those funds. He participated, and I would actually say he distinguished himself in a group that was organized by the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. She brought together a small group of heads of state and government to look at modern-day slavery and human trafficking. And our president, highlighted the importance of looking and tackling the root causes of these education, the economy, and so forth, and made a very useful contribution in that context.
We've just underscored our commitment to the historic agreement that was happened in Paris. We've signed the Paris Agreement now. It includes a commitment to our NDC, and then we will hope to ratify at COP22 in Morocco. I think the importance is that this is an agreement that we've taken all the sectors and all the constituencies along with us. Now it's time for the practice of putting it into action. That's really what it's about now.
I believe the whole world have now acknowledged that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari is doing good efforts to bring Nigeria into sound footing.
If you have just tuned in, this is Diaspora, creating a window between here and there. We trust you are still watching.
Information and news updates. Visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The senior special advisor to the president on foreign affairs and diaspora, Diaspora, facilitated a meeting between Mr. President and some diaspora Nigerian professionals. You will now want to meet some superlative revelations.
We met with President Muhammadu Buhari. It was a wonderful meeting. I think we spent a bit of time talking about our backgrounds, and he also talked about the challenges that Nigeria is facing and how the diasporans, Nigerians, can help Nigeria. And I think most importantly, President Buhari got a chance to see 15 amazingly talented Nigerians that can contribute to the country in a great way. Actually, I focus on data science and data policy and data regulation and how healthcare companies use data to further their business. There's a lot that Nigeria needs. And the reality is, for those of us that live over here, we can contribute much more to Nigeria than we can possibly contribute to a society as developed as the United States. Our country needs us more.
I'm excited to have met with President Muhammad Buhari. So I'm an expert in the aviation industry. I have been working in the aviation field for over 20 years. First of all, doing aircraft interior system with BE Aerospace, a couple of years with Delta Airlines in Atlanta, Georgia, Sikorsky Aircraft in Connecticut, Bombardier in Canada, Butler America, a consulting firm in the United States, as well as Atlas Air, doing aircraft maintenance, aircraft design, structural analysis, anything related to aircraft maintenance and design, both for fixed wing, wide body, as well as for rotary wings, helicopters. I feel that Nigeria has given a lot to me, and it is time for me to give back to the country that has done so much for me. So I'm hearing that Nigeria Airways is about to get started again. I'm more than willing to help in any way possible to get that airways going again in the right shape, be one of the best airlines in the world, if given the chance to participate in that wonderful project.
I'm an aviation consultant and expert. Actually, I recently retired from American Airlines and American Eagle Airline as the managing director of engineering. I ran the engineering department for years, so now I'm doing consulting on my own right now, working on with different countries on the MRO projects. MRO is maintenance, repair, and overhaul. That is what you do when you have to maintain your aircraft and give it full modification. I told Mr. President that the airplane that he's traveling with, I was the one that repaired for him in the United States. So he was very confident about that, and he said, wow, now I'm safe. So basically what I'm trying to do is that there is no MRO facility in West Africa. My goal is to come and build world-class MRO in Nigeria so that we don't have to ferry an aircraft to overseas to maintain it.
I came to United States in 1978, and I studied engineering, master's degree in both civil and architectural, and then I did a PhD in structural engineering. So what I do now, I work for the United States Department of Transportation. I design roads, buildings, and bridges and airports. Actually, the airport of New Orleans, I designed it, and it's going to be commissioned this January. And also, I designed the airport in Seattle, Washington, which also will be commissioned in January. And so many highways, especially in Houston, Texas. I met the president, and I am very happy, and I told him what I am doing, and I want to take this. I am very passionate to take this thing to Nigeria. I've been asking to get a chance to go back and do what I'm doing to this country in Nigeria.
I'm a college professor. I'm a developmental economist. I'm a manager and an educator as well. And Mr. President, I really cherished him. I really told him that I'm very happy that he took the fundamentals, because to me that is the best important thing one can do. He's challenging everybody to come back home. I think it is time to come back home and do what we are supposed to do to help the country grow. I'm Assistant Director for Dallas Water Utilities. I've been in the States for 38 years now. I've been here, I've done a lot of things. I've been fortunate to be in the public service for about 30 years in executive positions. Since I'm currently an executive with Dallas Water Utilities, and water is important infrastructure to the Nigerian economy, and is looking forward and hoping that with my expertise I can come back and try to contribute my widow's mite to help him with what he's trying to do for the Nigerian economy.
It's amazing the enormous human resources we have in the diaspora. And as Mr. President said to them, let's be tired of talking about potentials. We've made a lot of mistakes in the past. This is the time to correct those mistakes. At the time, Mr. President is laying a solid foundation. At the time, he's saying, let's get out of the denial and move this country forward. You have Nigerians in the diaspora saying, we want to join hands with you and Nigerians back home to claim our glory back again. So it was a great meeting. We're going to follow up with them. The excitement, the passion, the desire, the determination.
And to our Diaspora of the Week, take a listen to this robust engagement with our correspondent.
My name is Chuks Ezewuzie, the president of Nigerian Diasporas with Disabilities. I am a legal practitioner based in Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is United States of America. I've been in the state for about 26 years, practicing law, so I practice both in Nigeria and in the United States. Massachusetts is common law, just like Nigeria. As you know, Nigeria was a British colony, and our legal system is mostly derived from the legal principles and things developed in the United Kingdom. So we are basically on the same boat when it comes to the legal system. With the right technology, with the right education, there's not much difference. The limitation is the fact that I cannot open the law book and read it with my eyes. But there are other ways of reading it. I can use Braille, and I can use a computer. And when I read in Nigeria, when I studied in Nigeria many years ago, we were limited to things like typewriter, manual typewriter, with which the sighted teachers would read what we are writing, and then we studied with tape recorders and all that. But in United States, and now we are bringing that home to Nigeria as well, we use computer, and computers are equipped with speech, whereby you can turn on the computer and it can read to you the text that every other person is seeing on the screen. And then you can also get on the web, you can get on the internet and do your searches, you can do your research on the internet, you can access the libraries and in different places, and you can access pretty much every information you need to see now is on the internet. So with technology, you are able to access this information the same way that a person without visual impairment or disability of some sort can access this information. We set up this organization called Nigerian Diasporas with Disabilities, which has the primary aim of bringing home the wonderful things, the technology, the equipment, the services that we enjoy overseas to Nigerians, to our people here who may not be as privileged as we are to travel out to get these services. We bring them home now so that people in Nigeria or in various states, in various communities, schools, or offices can now have the same information that we do have, can have the same service that we do have. They can now access these services the same way we who are overseas would. That is why we are doing what we are doing. Right. When we called on the federal government to appoint a special assistant on disability matters, the president has done it, and for that we commend him. He now has a special assistant on disability matters.
What more can I say? An inspiration and source of pride to his dear country, Nigeria. You will concur. Well, this is our package on the Diaspora this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Our email remains thediasporanta@gmail.com. You can also send SMS only to +234 8033 425716. On behalf of the production crew, I am Oge Chipol, thanking you for your time. Join us again next week.